After Luffy found his grandfather launching an attack, he reminisced about his childhood when his grandfather had raised him. Since early on, his grandfather had always pushed Luffy to join the Navy, but Luffy's determination to become a pirate instead had always angered him. Currently, members of the Navy kept firing cannons at Luffy, but they couldn't destroy his ship. Then, when Garp started getting angry and launched another cannon, Luffy easily deflected the attack using his own body and destroyed their mainsail. Afterward, Nami planned to use the sea fog to escape from the Navy's pursuit. After successfully escaping Garp's pursuit, Luffy suddenly caught the scent of food, which helped them emerge from the fog and find a floating restaurant. Without hesitation, Luffy decided to dock at the restaurant and went in to enjoy their best dishes. Among all the restaurant chefs, one of the quirkiest with curved eyebrows and a penchant for women was introduced, Sanji. Meanwhile, Garp and his Navy members were still busy repairing their ship, and Kobe had an idea to seek help from the nearest naval base to fix their ship. However, Garp chose not to involve any Navy personnel in his teachings to the Straw Hat Pirates. Instead, Garp sought assistance from one of the Shichibukai, Dracula Mihawk. Just a little information, Shichibukai, or the Seven Warlords of the Sea, were notorious pirates known for their strength, who allied with the world government to help capture other pirates. Mihawk's power as a Shichibukai was so great that he could defeat an entire pirate armada with a single strike. After enjoying all the food and drinks on the menu, Sanji returned and gave them the bill. Luffy, who had no money, simply signed the bill. This angered Zeph, the head chef, who forced Luffy to pay for all the food that had entered his stomach by washing dishes in the restaurant for a year. While waiting for his punishment, Nami secretly planned to escape to Konomi Island on her own, leaving the three of them at the restaurant. There, she met someone who could help her get to the intended island. After washing a few dishes, Luffy, intrigued by Sanji, asked him a question similar to the one he had asked Zoro earlier. "Is there something greater you want to achieve besides being a chef?" Sanji casually answered that he wanted to find the All Blue, a legendary sea rumored to have all kinds of fish, a dream shared by chefs worldwide. Suddenly, another pirate arrived at the restaurant, requesting food from Sanji. He claimed to have been adrift at sea for weeks. As a chef, Sanji had a principle to feed anyone who was hungry, and witnessing Sanji's kindness, Luffy became even more impressed. He decided to invite Sanji to join his pirate crew in the quest for the One Piece. Upon hearing Luffy's wish, the pirate revealed that he too wanted to find the One Piece as the captain. However, when they reached the Grand Line, he lost all 50 ships and 5,000 of his crew, leaving him alone. Outside the kitchen, Usopp was unaware that he was talking to Mihawk. He casually introduced Zoro and Nami, claiming they were members of the Straw Hat Pirates. To their surprise, Zoro already knew Mihawk from the past, and the shocking revelation was that Mihawk held the title of the greatest swordsman in history. Bravely, Zoro challenged Mihawk to a duel the next morning, to the death, in order to become the greatest swordsman in the world. Nami and Usopp, shocked by Zoro's decision, called Luffy to ask him to cancel the duel plan. However, Luffy was reminded of Zoro's dream to become the greatest swordsman in the world. Instantly, Luffy had no right to hinder Zoro's desire. Before the duel, Zoro prepared himself through meditation. Meanwhile, Nami intended to leave and bring the Grand Line map with her. However, the next day, Nami changed her mind and returned to witness Zoro's fight against Mihawk. In this battle, Mihawk used only a small sword from his necklace, effortlessly dodging all of Zoro's attacks. Mihawk's skills clearly exceeded Zoro's. Nevertheless, Mihawk remained proud because Zoro didn't falter even after being pierced. Eventually, Mihawk decided to fight Zoro using his original sword. It was clear that Zoro had lost to Mihawk, but he still stood and accepted direct attacks from him. The outcome of the fight made Mihawk abandon his intention to capture Luffy. He would let them go and hoped that Zoro would become stronger to face him again in the future. From that moment on, Zoro was determined. He would never lose again. Luffy, Usopp, and Nami immediately attended to Zoro. While they stemmed the bleeding from Zoro's wounds, Luffy was asked to seek help from the restaurant. Not knowing where else to go, Luffy chose to visit the restaurant's kitchen. Just as Zeph was commenting on Sanji's cooking, Luffy arrived. Since there was no doctor available, and it would take 2 days to reach the nearest island, Zeph and Sanji decided to administer first aid. Using kitchen items like a kitchen knife, a red snapper, and a bottle of whiskey, Zeph used an old sailor's technique for first aid. The red snapper skin could close wounds and speed up healing. However, because Zoro had lost a lot of blood, they were asked to help keep Zoro conscious by telling stories or singing to him. On the other side, Mihawk was visiting Garp and informed him that he had decided to release Luffy on his own accord. Kobe tried to calm Garp and told him outright that no matter how hard he tried to make Luffy join the Navy, or how he had trained him in the past, Luffy would remain a pirate, even if it meant death. Therefore, Garp would capture every pirate and bring them to justice for the sake of peace. As for Luffy, he was busy wiping Zoro's sword. Usopp and Sanji were there, helping to prepare food. Suddenly, Sanji remembered that Zeph was once a pirate captain, just like Luffy. Sanji had encountered Zeph while plundering his ship, but a massive tsunami had subsequently destroyed both of their ships. From that disaster, only Zeph and Sanji remained. To survive, Zeph had given Sanji a smaller food bag than his own and forced him to watch the sea from the opposite side. Zeph had also threatened Sanji not to disturb him unless he saw a ship. After 50 days had passed, all of Sanji's food had run out. However, by the 70th day, the hunger he had endured for so long had changed Sanji's emotions, and he intended to kill Zeph if he didn't share his food. But to Sanji's surprise, when he opened Zeph's bag, he found nothing but treasure, not a single morsel of food. Sanji was also shocked to learn that for the past 70 days, Zeph had survived by eating his own leg. Sanji asked Zeph why he would do such a thing for a child he didn't even know. Zeph's answer was simple: because Sanji was a cook like him, and Sanji's desire to find the All Blue was just like his own. Hearing Sanji's story, Luffy was reminded of his childhood when Shanks sacrificed his arm to save Luffy. These memories made Luffy want to save Zoro, even if it meant sacrificing his own arm or leg. However, Nami blamed Luffy, saying, "You should have stopped Zoro from fighting Mihawk from the beginning." But according to Luffy, he didn't want to stand in the way of Zoro reaching his dream. Everyone had their own dreams, like Luffy's dream of becoming the Pirate King, Usopp's dream of becoming a brave hero all over the seas, and Sanji's dream of finding the All Blue. Luffy believed that Nami must have her own dream as well, but she didn't want to share it with them. At the same time, 3 fishermen arrived at the restaurant, including Arlong, Kurubi, and Chu. Their intention was to find Luffy and take the Grand Line map from him. Nami, who already knew about their plan, immediately informed Luffy. She also heard that Arlong would destroy the restaurant if he couldn't find Luffy. Sanji, who was not about to let his restaurant be destroyed, decided to defend it. Luffy and Usopp wanted to help Sanji and entrusted their ship and the Grand Line map to Nami. The truth was that Arlong knew Luffy's whereabouts thanks to Buggy's help. After Luffy defeated him, one of Buggy's ears was hidden inside Luffy's hat, and he had heard everything. However, Luffy still refused to hand over the Grand Line map to Arlong, no matter what. Arlong continued to pursue Luffy in various ways. When Luffy counterattacked, none of his punches seemed to affect Arlong. Then, when he managed to knock Luffy into the sea and was about to tear him apart, Nami came out holding the Grand Line map, stopping Arlong's actions. The bitter truth was that Nami confessed that she was a member of Arlong's pirate crew all along, and her goal was to obtain the map. However, she still felt guilty toward Luffy. She tried to convince Arlong to finish Luffy by throwing him into the sea instead of dismembering him. Fortunately, Sanji rushed in to save Luffy. Afterward, Sanji returned to clean up the mess in the restaurant. However, he received scolding and curses from Zeph. Zeph forced Sanji to leave his restaurant and find the All Blue, just like their shared dream. It was a fortunate coincidence that Luffy had invited Sanji to join the crew the previous night. and he decided to become a member of the Straw Hat Pirates. Similarly, Luffy recounted everything to Zoro, including the truth that Nami was a member of Arlong's pirate crew and had taken the Grand Line map. Upon hearing this, Zoro woke up from his critical condition and promised to stand by Luffy's side from now until the end, no matter what happens, until they find One Piece. However, to achieve all of this, Luffy planned to rescue Nami from Arlong's clutches first. Sanji joined the crew as a ship's cook. Before they set sail, Sanji bid farewell to Zeph, as it was thanks to him that Sanji had survived until now. Now, he was going to sail the seas to fulfill his dream. Their current goal was to find Nami. But without knowing where Arlong or the 2 fishmen were, Luffy managed to obtain Buggy's head to show where Nami was located.